maybe it's time for you to rewrite or maybe revise Search to Belong and call it the virtual edition. You know?
The VR.
The VR edition. Well,
Search to Belong VR.
Hey, Chris Mueller works in a hospital, Joseph, actually in Cincinnati. So why don't we let him ask his question, because he's got an interesting question dealing with just how, hospital as a hospital chaplain and dealing with in this pandemic in particular, and how they're using iPads. Chris, why don't you go ahead and take it from there? What's your question?
Hey, Chris, can I ask first? Do I know your family?
I don't think so. I'm not originally from Cincinnati.
Does your family live in Cincinnati?
No, I'm originally from Texas.
Oh, okay.
But I do get that a lot.
Well, there's a family that you could belong to in Cincinnati, and you look just like them. So
oh, really?
You'd fit right in. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, no, thank you for being with us. No, with the pandemic, as a chaplain, connecting with patients in their toughest time is vitally important, and most of the time we may have 15 minutes to do so. And their one sense of normalcy, their family, has been taken away because the hospital has limited visitors. So they're feeling very isolated. And we've tried to remedy that with iPads, but we're sensing that they're not. I've had a lot of patients say, "Oh, it's nice, but it's not quite the same as seeing my loved one in person."
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to see what your thoughts on that were and what advice you would have.
Well, first, I want to thank you for what you're doing. So, I don't know how many of you have been touched personally by the COVID, but it's pretty sinister when hospitalized and everything's taken away from you, right? So, Chris, I think that here's the problem is in 15 minutes, we don't have time to teach them a new way to feel a sense of belonging.
Okay.
Our culture is going to learn it. And the next time we have this kind of pandemic and people are in the hospital and all their family is taken away and we show them iPads, next time people are going to go, that was the best thing. And,
yeah.
It feels like they were just here. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Here's the thing is that when everything is taken away, those 4 searches are taken away. Hope, identity, significance, and belonging. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All of that is gone. And trying to learn during pandemic how to relearn the way we feel. Fortunately, the brain is actually, while you're doing these things on the iPad, it's helping. It is helping. The chemical in their body it's sensing that it is helping. But no, it's not the same for them yet.
Okay.
So I don't have any silver bullet with that except to say thanks. You're doing a fantastic job.
I appreciate it.
One of the questions that kind of is emerging in the chat, and it's not really more of a question, it's more of a thought, is could digital be the new social space? You've got public, social, personal, intimate. Could digital be the new space? Maybe is there 5 spaces now that we operate? Your thoughts?
Well, it's yes, and it can be the new public, and it can be the new personal, and it can be the new intimate.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, and social space is, like I said in the book, is, and I told myself I wouldn't say that phrase online here, and I just did. Is the front porch, right? Social is the front porch of the 4 spaces. It's the place that is in between public and personal, and digital does it very well.
So, Kurt here asked an interesting question, and I'm going to unmute you here, Kurt. You're talking about physical touch, obviously, and he's dealing with a church with some older folks. In fact, the church where I serve and work with, my entire life group, I have 2 life groups, and everyone's over 60 years of age. So getting them onto Zoom was quite an experience. But once they got there, it's like, whoa, this is like the new, for them, it's fascinating, but not for all. But Kurt, why don't you ask your question? I'll let you do it. You can do it just as well. Go ahead.
Well, and kind of in the way you were just phrasing that, what we're noticing with our folks is this is a definite baby steps process. And, we're a smaller church where it's myself and an associate pastor. So, basically the church can't get it until we learn it, and then they're kind of going from there. So I joked I'm currently our senior pastor and also our multimedia pastor. So starting actually as soon as this is done, I go record my sermon, and then I'm on my computer until probably 2 a.m. tomorrow night, getting everything online. So, but to kind of jump back to the question here, our folks do a pretty good job engaging on Facebook. And so we're not pushing anything else just yet. We're trying to get there. Yeah. All pastors are not tech support. Yes, we are. But I think our folks can start to engage, especially Zoom, if we kind of baby step it to them. But to kind of the question I asked was, we have so many that this will never replace physical meeting. You mentioned earlier, you think that handshakes are a thing of the past, and I'll disagree, because I know so many people who will gladly pass and receive any disease before they give up shaking hands, just that old mindset. They can't let go of this. And so I don't remember exactly how I asked my question, but how do we try to encourage this on people who are and I don't mean to say established and set in their ways as a bad thing. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. Right now, if I said we're going to meet together Sunday, we'd have a ton of people here. I say a ton, we're not a huge church, but we'd have a bunch of our people show up, regardless of whatever recommendations are being handed down. So how do we encourage this for those who we have a lot of our people who are physical touch based or quality time based, where maybe they're not needing to be hugged and have their hands shaken, but they need to be shoulder to shoulder with people and in the room with people. So how do we encourage this from a standpoint to say, okay, maybe this isn't the exact same thing, but this can be as good.
Good luck.
Or at least an adequate replacement.
Yeah. Good luck. And you're doing well. Here's, again, the more a people group are not native to a digital environment, and the longer they have not been a part of that digital environment, the harder it's going to be. That's just the way our human brain is. It's not that they're old and can't learn new things. They do that all the time. Mm-hmm. And by the way, being in that group that you just mentioned, age-wise, I learn new things all the time, right? So it's just that there are, I liken it to when we had the worship wars. I don't know if any of you are a part of congregations that ever had to go from hymns to contemporary Christian worship.
Or technology to overhead projectors.
Overhead projectors out of the hymnal, up on screen. Yeah. You mean we're not reading our Bible anymore? You don't have to bring your Bible? Yeah. What kind of church is this?
Yeah.
Kurt, I want to say to you, these people have already learned new things. And I hate to keep going back to this, but the better you do it, if you do it well, the quicker they'll learn, and the more you can give them bridges to people who already know, whom they love, like their grandkids. Mm-hmm. The more you can create that bridge, the quicker they will accept it. Now, before they pass to the other side of the river, will they ever get to the point that this is the same thing as being together in your church? Probably not. And so you can be at peace about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just continue to do it a little better every week. Now, can I talk a little bit about bringing people back after COVID? Can we talk just a minute about that? Because I think, Kurt, this really hits on congregations like yours. We have a responsibility, in my opinion, to bring people back safely. And if we say one day, when the government allows us to have church again, that it's an ollie income-free day, that everybody can come back at once, we haven't really thought out our responsibility.
I wonder, just a thought on that, whether or not the people won't be the ones that surprise us, because I for one, am more than happy to stay home and watch online another few weeks than to actually go when my church does open. And I wonder if people won't vote with their feet a little bit, and we might be surprised how many people don't come back right away. And in fact, what we've been talking about in here is that the small group experience might be the place where people first connect with their church, as opposed to the large, auditorium.
Well, and I hope that's the case. The problem, Rick, is that the most vulnerable are the ones who will come back.
True.
And if we don't really consider our responsibility in that, for instance, what are we doing with kids? You can't keep them 6 feet apart. So are you inviting all your families to come back?
Yeah.
What about an elderly crowd who are most at risk, who feel a sense of commitment and challenge to be there every week? And if that door is open, it doesn't matter. Hell, high water, snow, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be there kind of personality. Do we have some responsibility to go, whoa, wait a minute. We're not asking you to come back right now. And so we need to think about, the reason why this is pertinent to the Search to Belong conversation, because we need to think about how we bring people back, I think, in stages. And two, how we communicate that they still belong. How do you do that?
Even if they're not in that public, large space.
Right.
Yeah.
And small groups is a part of that, but that you're also going to have to supply public space, and you're also going to have to supply social space and personal space. And so how do we do that for our crowd, for our congregation? Because listen, it won't be the same when they come back unless we just ignore our responsibility. So if we're a church of 200 and our facility, let's just say it holds 250 people, and we average 200 a Sunday, we can't have 200 people in that room.
Right.
And so how many people can fit in your washroom at one time and be safe? How many people can come in your front doors and in your lobby and be safe? So ingress, egress. There's just so many things to think about. And the reason it's not only physically important, it's emotionally and socially important how we communicate those things and how we give people a sense that they still belong, even though these are still the protocols that we are going to follow. I know the government says that it's fine for you to come back to church, but it's our responsibility to make sure that you safely come back to church.